Let's turn on the lights. I am going to show you a technique in oil on how to make your paintings glow. So we're going to talk all about light today, and I'm going to show you all kinds of different light techniques. So this lion painting started out as an acrylic, and I literally spent less than 1 hour blocking in the lion in acrylic and then went right to oil. And so that one step in acrylic sped up the process by at least 6 hours, if not more. And so now I'm able to spend a lot of time in oil, really finessing it and bringing out the light. I want to welcome Jake here. So we have Jake Dunn. Say hello, Jake, and introduce yourself.
What's up, beautiful creatives of the world? I'm Jake Dunn. I am Elli's son-in-law, Dimitra Milan's husband, co-owner of Milan Art Institute. And it is my pleasure to be the Oz for you in this live, the man behind the scenes and behind the camera, relaying your questions to Elli throughout this. This is recorded too, so feel free to leave your comments or questions in the chat or in the comments below this video.
Yeah, so I'm just going to paint here, and this painting, you know, you might be wondering how close to being finished is it, and I would say it's about 4 hours or so from being finished, and I'm pretty much putting the last layer of oil on it, and that is really the fun part for me. I love that part of the painting because it's already solved. I believe in it again. I'm not like worried if it's going to turn out or, you know, not going to look good. And I really can just enjoy one of my favorite parts, which is putting the details that really count and take it from being like a so-so painting to a really, really good painting. And Jake is just going to help me, you know, keeping the conversation going. He'll have a bunch of interesting things to say. If you have questions or anything, he'll let me know what they are. And yeah, that's the plan.
Painting and talking at the same time is a very difficult task. I don't know if any of you have tried it, but Elli and Dimitra are super excellent at it. However, it does help sometimes to have someone behind the scenes just helping prompt with different questions. So Elli, first, could you tell us a little bit more about the process that you used to get to this stage in the painting?
Yeah, first thing I did is, ooh, I wonder if you guys can hear that thunder. That was like pretty magical. So the first thing I did is I painted my canvas blue-black. So I just took a Prussian blue and black together in acrylic and just completely saturated the canvas, blue-black. Then I blocked in with spray paint, just some forms. So I just spray painted like red and orange here, and I spray painted in little blobs for the flowers, maybe a little bit of blue. And that all just took like, I don't know, not even 10 minutes. And then I then I drew in the lion at that point. And so that didn't take very long either. And then I got out acrylic, probably only about 5 colors in acrylic. And after I had the drawing in, I just got a huge brush and blocked in with a huge brush the entire lion. And that only took maybe 20, 25 minutes at the most. So in less than an hour, I had the beginning stages of this, you know, all in. And then I went right into oil. First thing I did is glaze with the oil and over the acrylic. And that's basically got me on the board with the oil. And then I've just been kind of finessing it ever since, layer after layer.
How did you go about choosing the color palette for this painting?
Well, it's a color palette I kind of stumbled into not too long ago, inspired by our Vivid paints. I developed these vivid paints that, really, Jake, do you remember when we went on with Dimitra and John, we were living in Georgia and we went to Destin and we rented that Airbnb and we brought the dogs and all that and we were talking about this vivid set?
I don't know how I could forget that trip because Cyrus chewed through the bathroom door.
No, that was a different trip.
Oh, sorry. Okay. I was thinking of that. I was like, that trip will go down in infamy.
That was Clearwater. This was Destin.
Gotcha. Yeah, I remember the Destin trip. That was fun. Yeah.
And I think your grandma and grandpa went too. They met us like a few days later or something. But anyway, we remember we were talking about this set and like how cool it would be to create colors that defied the warm and cool thing. And
yeah.
And so
what was that, 2021, 2022?
Yeah, something like that. Anyway, so yeah, we finally did it. And so as soon as I got the vivids, I did an octopus. And I was just so blown away because turquoise was popping forward and magenta, and then I had like periwinkle blue that was going back and creating all this space, and it was just like the colors were just so incredible. And I pretty much kind of found this kind of orange and blue palette, but it's not so much the orange and blue, it's the drama. It's like film, it's like when you watch a really beautiful cinematic movie that somebody made, and the color of that like orange and blue, or that like rusty red with the almost turquoise blue. I don't know. There's something about that color scheme that to me is just super moody and magical.
And some people were asking about if they can find where they can find the vivid paints. So those are exclusively our own paints, and you can actually find them just pinned beneath this video. So I'm also going to share the class that Elli's talking about that teaches you how to use the vivid step by step and create an incredibly vibrant indirect painting from start to finish. Very similar to this one, actually, that Elli is painting on now. So although that process is entirely with oils, so you'll learn start to finish with oils using the vivid paints plus a few other colors. And it is one of our most loved classes that we've put out recently. It's a very in-depth course. It is a little bit pricier than our regular courses if you've taken some of our master classes or Mastery Insights before. But it is well worth it. Highly, highly recommend it. It is not included in the mastery program, though the indirect painting method is taught in the mastery program. So, you can apply the indirect method with vivids directly if you're a master program student or graduate. But yeah, I'm going to share that in the chat. So if you want to learn more about that entire process.
I've been seeing we should try that. I've been seeing this ad trend where people are like, our jeans are expensive, but they'll definitely lift your butt. And it gets me. I click every time. I'm like, how expensive are they? What do they think is expensive? And then I go on there and I'm expecting $400 jeans, that are magical and lift your butt. And they're $60. I'm like, that's not expensive. $60 jeans. I've seen way worse.
I just posted it in the chat. This class is expensive, but it'll definitely transform your art.
And that is the truth, honestly.
Expensive is relative, I will say. So,
compared to a lot of things I've seen out there, it is not expensive.
Oh, Sandy just said, I'm doing the Vivid class now, and it's wonderful. That's awesome. That's so cool.
It is honestly my favorite class we've made.
Every class that we teach now, Elli kind of benchmarks against the Vivids class.
I do.
So that is
I'm driving
truth.
everybody nuts with that.
And internally, that is this one's great, but the Vivids is better, so we need to make this better.
Okay, time to get moving here. So,
Wait, real
oh,
quick, Ellie, could you
yeah.
point to the vivids on your palette just so people could see like what colors are vivids?
Yeah. So, okay. This, for those of you that are familiar with our classes and our courses and our color theory, which is totally revolutionary. I'm not just saying that like being braggy, like it really is revolutionary. These are my warm paints. These are my cool paints. Cools recede. So if you're painting light, so far, all of this back here is cool, and this I started to build up warm because this bokeh effect here has to feel almost like a stack of balloons that comes towards us. And I need the yellows, and the values are very similar, and the colors are very similar. So the only way to get that form, and you can already see here, these are popping in front of this. In order to get that like rounded effect, you have to use warm and cool. So all of my cool yellows are here, and that's gonna recede. All my warm yellows are here, they're gonna pop forward, right? So what is the issue with the vivids is, if you look at this color right here, this turquoise, it is cobalt teal. That is a cool color, okay? And a turquoise, a blue that leans towards green, is naturally normally a cool blue. Whereas this ultramarine blue here leans towards red, and it's naturally going to be warm. But we made a warm turquoise that pops forward, so this turquoise, unlike that turquoise, is warm. I know, it leans towards green, that makes no sense, but I promise you, this turquoise pops forward, and it defies, you know, normal color theory. And this fire engine, we call it sunset orange, it leans towards red instead of yellow, right? It's a very warm looking orange, but it's cool and it recedes. So same with this magenta. So we have this like bright magenta here, and normally that would cool off, that would lean away from you, but it doesn't, it pops forward. Same with this purple. Also another difficult color is this periwinkle blue. It looks warm, but it's not, it's cool, it recedes. So we've taken all the colors that are almost impossible to make traditionally, and we've flipped them. So you have really a bright warm turquoise, a really bright magenta, and they're just like super electric, bright, bright, bright colors that are very alive, lots of movement, and they fill in the gaps and the holes that you have in your palette. So that's what's so revolutionary about them. And so the Vivid course really not only teaches you in depth about warm and cool and how to create that depth that I'm talking about, but it also utilizes the Vivids for indirect painting, which is a whole thing in itself. And I would be here for a long time talking about it if I explained it all. But yeah, so Vivid, Vivid, Vivid. There's 5 on each side, but I didn't put them all out because it's not in this color palette. And then this one's Vivid, this one's Vivid, the fire is Vivid, and the sunset. And there's other colors in the mix. There's 10 colors total. So I'm using this roundish filbert. So basically an old messed up filbert that's kind of like frayed and stubby. And it makes really good bokeh effect, or that kind of these blurry little circles. So you just come in and kind of go round and round and round in both directions, and it makes a nice circle for you. And so they're fun to do, and if you just kind of keep stacking them up and adding them. So I'm adding the cools first, and then I'm going to add the warms on top. And light, creating light and paintings with light effects in them is really all about like the brushwork, blending, and warm and cool. It's really a tremendous exercise in knowing warm and cool and how to use them to your advantage. A lot of people don't realize that creating light is less about painting the light source, because this is really the light source for all this light, this right here. But it's the effect of the light. So it's the repercussions of the light that give this strength. And so that's the important part.
Are there any other common mistakes that you see artists make in terms of painting light? Like if you think back to the in-person workshop that you just taught on light around a month ago or so, and like something that students might have been getting wrong, or mistakes that they made before the class.
Yeah, I feel like it's not a subtle thing. It requires, a degree of courage, because you have to do some flashy, showy, high contrast things. You can't be afraid of contrast. You can't be, worried about things showing up too much, because light is, in nature, it's dramatic. I mean, that's why we started it, with some drama, right, of light. Because light is dramatic. And it creates mood, it creates emotion, and I feel like when you're new and at something and you're learning, it's difficult to be gutsy and kind of bold with something. So, but there's no other way. So I would say that that's the mistake I see is people not quite being bold enough.
Hey, Ellie, are all of the Vivids opaque?
Yeah.
Okay. And then another question. Someone wanted to know if the texture on the canvas, or is there texture on the canvas, or is it just thick paint?
Oh, that's a great question. I forgot to mention, yeah, I started with modeling paste. So it has modeling paste, and when I remember to do it, I don't always remember to do it. I wish I always remembered to do it, but what that does is it makes your canvas not so thirsty. So thirsty meaning like, suck up all the paint. Okay, so now I'm gonna move into similar colors, but warms on it. And we gotta get this to kind of come forward.
Mari wants to know what type of filbert is your largest filbert. It's a bit of a mix of filbert and square. Is it synthetic, Deposo, and is it for both acrylic and oil?
This brush?
The larger filbert.
This one?
I guess. Is that that's the largest one you've been using, right?
Yeah, this one is an acrylic brush, but I really like it, so I'm using it for oil. But this is just a very flat. It's synthetic and it's flat and it's I like it because it's skinny and it just goes into a point and it's a really nice size. And then this is a highly abused natural fiber oil brush that it's gotten so stubby through abuse that it's a perfect scumbling brush or bokeh brush.
Is there any way we could easily get the source on the screen so people could see? Do you guys have the source? You have it? Okay, awesome. Thank you. Coming up soon, folks, you will see the source. We'll probably put it in the bottom right of the screen. I don't know, wherever the production team determines is the best spot. Tina wants to know, and this is fun, very relevant, how many layers of acrylic would you say is okay before switching to oils? Should it just be one thin layer, or can I put oils on top even if there are many layers of acrylic?
Totally. Yeah. I don't think there's any rules for that. I sometimes go heavy in acrylic, and other times I go very, very minimal in acrylic. This would be minimal. And because it's such a dark painting and dramatic with the darkness, it made sense to start with a black canvas, basically, a blue-black canvas. And so to me, it's different for every painting, depending on the subject and the technique I'm going to use. So yeah, I don't think there's any rules about that. And, you know, you can have a lot of acrylic, a lot of layers, or not so many. So there's some little light effects here that I'm gonna switch to this smaller filbert. It's not as beat up, it's newer, and it's longer, so it's a little harder. You have to kind of keep a lighter, you can't push down so much, you have to keep kind of a light touch to it to get the roundness, but I have to have different sizes or it's gonna look a little monotonous.
Mary wants to know, speaking of sources, do you make up your sources yourself?
I do. This is a completely original source, and I use a combination of, lately I've been using Midjourney to get a certain lion. And the other thing is, like, if you go on Pinterest, and I don't have access to a lion. It's not like I have a glorious lion in my backyard that I can take my own photos of. And sometimes I feel like bad to use photographers, you know, they go out in the wilderness and they camp out for days and days and, you know, could get eaten by these lions. I mean, they go through a lot of sacrifice. And then I go on Pinterest and I take their photo, and yes, I change it dramatically and I put it in a scene and add a bunch of things to it and turn it into a painting. Perfectly ethical, perfectly legal, but I still kind of feel like, I don't know, like it's, you know, a photographer did that. So now that Midjourney is around, you can get any kind of lion in any kind of position you want. So you can orchestrate, you're not just stuck with what you find on Pinterest. You can create any look and any feel that you want for that lion. And I think that is amazing for an artist. So this is a digital piece of art that I created in Pixelmator. It probably has about 12 to 15 different photographs in it that I've all merged and used, and different kinds of light effects. And like this is just a marigold flower, but I added the glowing light inside of it, the glowing light inside of that. So there's a lot of different effects layered on top of each other. And we teach our students how to use that program. It's a lot like Photoshop, basically, but much more user-friendly, and how to, you know, basically make these really cool sources that are super original in the mastery program. So it's all about finding your voice and your tone, you know, your vibe, like what you want your artwork to feel like to the viewer and to other people, and then getting the tools together and the processes that fit your temperament to where you know, you've created a source making process that works. So that was a really long answer for, is that your, did you make that source? I could have just said, uh-huh.
Yeah.
Why do I do that? I don't know.
So Robert wants to know, how do you blend colors with acrylic paint because they dry fast?
Well, you don't. That's why, well, first of all, I'm not a big fan of blending a lot, but sometimes you have to blend. Like some of this is blended. So, you know, there is a time and a place for blending. But acrylics are really hard to blend. And I suppose you could work wet on wet with, you know, some like retarder to slow the drying time down. But I blend in acrylics by dry brush or scumbling, and that's how I do it if I want to blend something or integrate something. But I would say acrylics are not known as a good blending, and really, if you like to blend, I would switch to oil.
So Mari actually was asking earlier about the brush that is the largest one in the mastery set, what kind of bristles.
Oh,
so
this
I
one?
got the size, it's 1.75 inches, and interlock filbert. What is that? Is it real fur?
No, this one is synthetic, but what they do is what interlock means, it's a complicated, you can do it for synthetic or natural, but the fibers have a natural bend to them. And sometimes they'll, like, they're not just like stick straight, they have a natural fold to them or bend. And what they do is they line up all the fibers so that they naturally bend to this shape. So if you look, like, the ones on this side go in and the ones on this side go in here. So that you don't, brushes that aren't interlocked, after a while they do this. Like, for example, well, I don't have any here. Anyway, the ones that like get frayed and they go all crazy, it's because they're not interlocked. So, but yeah, that's a synthetic filbert.
Wow, okay, I gotta read this out. So Alexa Luft said, just got asked to be on the local news about my paintings. A year ago, this never would have been possible, but the mastery program has unlocked my creative potential, and I'm so grateful.
Oh, that's so awesome. That is so cool.
Yeah, please, Alexa, share. I would love to see like the news link or, you know, the article or the video or whatever, if you don't mind sharing it with us. So you could just email that to our customer service team, info@milanart. And we'd love to like feature you and highlight your success as a graduate. And any other graduates who have wins, you know, please, we want to celebrate your wins. We have a ton of other graduates, you know, who've shared different gallery events that or exhibitions that they're doing, or like sold out collections, even just sold paintings. We really love to hear about your your wins throughout the mastery program. Like this other student who I was just talking to, her name's Elaine. She's an art teacher. Shout out Elaine if you're watching this now or in the future. And she was concerned that she wouldn't be able to afford the mastery program. Actually, I want to make sure I relay this accurately. I talked to a lot of students, so I'm not sure if I know basically the punchline of the story is that she was going to start much later. I kind of talked her into starting earlier, and then she ended up selling her very first oil painting in the program after using our quick sale guide. And like within the first month of signing up for the mastery program. So it's super exciting.
That is very exciting.
You know, if you're hesitant about joining the mastery program because of your budget, then that might be the reason that you should join the mastery program, because it just could help you expand your budget. So by having that constraint, what it does is it makes you want it even more. It makes it hurt that much more and gives you that much more motivation when you go through the program to make it work for you, to make it successful, and to hold yourself accountable, to show up to the daily coaching calls that we have within the master program group coaching community, to post every assignment. Man, this rain is coming down. I don't know if you guys can hear it. We got
Jake,
a metal
it's
roof.
you. Every time you do a live, the rain comes down.
Yeah, it's me. So anyways, it's super exciting. We love hearing your successes. Congratulations, Alexa, and thanks for sharing it with us. And if you're a current mastery program student who started more than 7 months ago, I can't remember exactly when we added the quick sale guide, I highly recommend you go check out the quick sale guide in your resources. So that's another awesome perk of being a master program student. As we update the program, you get access to those updates when you buy the master program now. And all the students who paid for the mastery program before we raised the prices last year, they get access to all the new updates minus the group coaching, completely included in the program. So we actually have a ton of updates that we're rolling out very soon in the program. And with that, with all the investments into making the mastery program better that we're doing, we are going to be raising the prices of the mastery program in the coming months. So stay tuned for the exact dates on when that'll be. We'll let you know. But it's very exciting. We have some incredible updates that we're doing to the first part of the program, and when you buy the master program now, you get access to those updates now and in the future. So just wanted to let you know in case you've been waiting for a sign. This might be your sign to pursue your passion for your art now.
Honestly, being a part of the mastery program is almost like being a part of a lifelong club, because you have lifetime access to the program, and we're always updating it. And the updates that are planned for the future over the next 2 years are off the charts incredible. And even people that took the mastery program 8 years ago are gonna see that and get to be a part of it and have it. So it's just a really incredible thing that we offer, that benefit that once you've paid for the program, you have lifetime access.
And I will say, these updates that we're about to add are the biggest updates we've ever made to the mastery program. So all mastery program students who are watching right now, if you are, you might want to, just for fun, go back and, brush up on some of these different lessons that we're updating. We also have some guest instructors that we're bringing in who are excellent teachers. And so I'm really excited for that too. I'm kind of, I don't know, kind of maybe spoiling a little bit too much, but anyways, I'm just really excited because we've been working on this literally for months. Like, I don't know if you guys know the process for, filming something like the mastery program, but it's terabytes and terabytes of footage, hours of lessons, editing, and we have a whole entire team, a production team, that's here behind the cameras, and also a production team a post-production team that's editing the footage. And so, we've been orchestrating all of these edits and all these changes, and there are a ton. And so I'm super excited. And as I said before, if you sign up for the program now, then you get access to all the updates in the future at the current pricing. So Sharon wants to know, how do we know which classes have been updated and when? So we will send you out an email as we're making this big update. So we'll be sending out emails on the Milan Art app. We'll do some lives too to explain within the master program community, to explain the updates and some of the changes. And it's gonna be really fantastic. That's all we're gonna kind of share now, because we're just, we're only supposed to tease it right now. So we'll go more into detail as we get closer to these updates, but they're going to start happening in the next months. Okay, so some students are asking, where do you find the quick sale guide? So we added it to part 1, section 1 at the very end of it. So if you log into the Milan Art Institute app and you go to Mastery Program Library and then part 1 lessons, then you go into section 1. You can see it at the very end. It's called How to Sell Your First Assignment. We wrote out a step-by-step guide for let me just read it out. Of course, completing the assignment, how to attach wire to the back so that it is, properly ready to hang on the wall, and then how to post your progress, how to price the painting too, and then how to promote the painting, whether it's with your personal network and your friends and family or social media, and then finalizing the sale. And how to make sure, making sure that you're in control of the payment links so you don't get scammed, and, accepting the payment there. It's a really simple guide, it's just 6 steps, but a lot of people think that they don't have permission to sell their art until they're finished with the program. And that's really like the big misconception that we wanted to overcome with this quick guide, is that like you can start selling, there's no rules, like you can start selling your work. Okay, there are some rules when it comes to reproductions, I will say, and like reproducing artwork. But in terms of selling originals, there's not really any rules when it comes to like painting sources and selling those sources, especially like your student work as you're going through the program, where you start having to think about copyright and copyright restrictions is when you start making reproductions of the work itself. So that being said, this is not legal advice. Insert legal disclaimer, but we do cover copyright stuff in the master program too. So.
So right here on the lion, it's not dramatic enough. And I gotta work on this a bit more. I need to wait till it's dry and glaze it because this needs to be darker and kind of knocked back, and then the final highlight. So that's kind of set up for the glaze layer. And then, you know, we got some good drama going on here. But this area here, I haven't really put that final layer on, and where it's going to really show the drama of this light source is in the evidence of how his face is lit, which again is accentuated by the color scheme of this all being kind of grayish blue, and then this being the true color of the lion. And but if you look like right here, it's kind of flat. And I think you guys have the source on the screen, is that right?
Yeah.
So if you look at the source around this area, the darks aren't really there. And there's the contrast that I was talking about when Jake said, what is the mistake people make? So this isn't reading good in terms of lighting because I don't have the dramatic effect. So I really need to add the darks, and I'm going to do that like in a very light glaze that'll probably be dry enough in a minute, or set up at least, where I can put the highlights later. So I am going to, because it's set back a little bit, do that in a cool. So it's alizarin and some raw umber here, maybe a slight little fleck of phthalo green. But phthalo green, man, it can get you, so you got to watch it and not go crazy with it. And another thing is this white of the eye has to come out further, so I have that off a little bit. So anyway, adding some darker tone here.
And I just wanted to clarify too, for all of our current mastery program students, just because there might have been some confusion, we will not be raising the prices for current mastery program students. We would not do that to you. It is only for future students who sign up after the price increase that the price will be increased.
Yeah, once your price is locked in, it's locked in.
Yeah. Unless for, you know, some reason you have to quit the mastery program, and then, you know, you do forfeit that price that you joined in at. So I have to make sure we CYA with the little disclaimers.
If you are ever like wanting some fur tricks, getting your brush to kind of spread like that. I don't know, can you see that? Is it good? So see how the fibers are spread? And then when you go and you add, you know, it creates this like fur effect. So that's just a little trick for you. So you just kind of like mess it up so it spreads, and then you get fur.
Hey, Ellie, Monty wants to know, do you have to wait for the glaze to dry, or can you do it now?
No, I can paint over this now. It's not like a big glaze I'm putting on, like saturating it. I'm just deepening it. And I'm trying to do it really light so that I can do that. So as soon as I'm done with the dark, I'll put the highlight.
I did want to mention as well that we do have a special bundle deal for the Vivid's Color Alchemy course, which the name of that might change. We're testing out some different names. So, but basically the amazing course that you learn indirect oil painting using these vivid paints. We have a special deal for getting the vivid oil paint with that course too, just so you know.
Yeah, it's a great deal, an incredible deal. You save a lot if you want to get both. And I can't imagine you not wanting to. Such great paint.
Teresa wants to know if the mentors in the mastery program also help with social media.
Yeah, for sure.
Basically, every single one of them is pursuing their own, well, every single one of them is a graduate of the mastery program and also is pursuing their own career in art. And most of them are pursuing a career while utilizing social media as a platform to promote themselves and to attract more leads and to get sales for their art. So, yes.
And some are further along than others. I mean, some of our mentors have 20 or 30,000 followers, and some have more like 5,000 or 6,000. They all know how to do it, and they're all actively building their social media. But some are, have graduated later. I mean, what am I trying to say, Jake?
Have been a graduate for longer and
That's
thus
what I
are a
meant.
little bit further along in the journey. Yeah. Teresa wanted to know, do you also have suggestions on how to film yourself painting?
Me? Yeah. I have struggled with that. Partially because I'm very blessed and I have, a whole production team here. Granted, they're not really dedicated to me, it's more the school, but I get lots and lots of help. And, anytime I'm stuck, I'm like, Tanner, help. And, so I'm spoiled. And it's kind of made me like not grow, on my own because I get help. But then they all, tell me no, and they don't help. And so I'm on my own. And so what I've had to do, I mean, that's not totally true. Tanner's sitting there going, what? I help you all the time. But anyway, I got an Osmo. So that was Jake's suggestion. And it was such a good suggestion. And that, even though I still screw it up and I put it on slow-mo accidentally and I push some button and it starts following faces instead of my painting. And, so I have a few glitchy moments with it. But overall, I am thrilled with it. And it's made everything so much easier. I don't know if they're expensive or not, but are they expensive?
The Osmos?
Yeah.
Well, I think they're $600 without the the creator bundle. I think the creator bundle is either $700 or $800, which gives you like the tripod and the battery handle and the SD card.
I mean, I would say that if you are really serious about filming yourself a lot, it's a great thing to get, and it helped me. And you can take it anywhere. It's just like, I mean, granted, you have your phone, but I don't know. There's such a block for me about the phone. Maybe because I have to look at the videos every time I film on there, and then, I don't like that. But
just to add, though, you don't really edit your own videos, though.
No, I don't.
So I would recommend for an artist who's just starting out, actually not to buy the Osmo and to just get started using your phone. And then once you build momentum and you feel like the quality of the footage is actually a limiting factor for you, or would inspire you to use it more. Like, I'm the type of person where, like, if I have a camera, I'm much more inspired to
I think was my issue.
Do the photography or the videography because it's a more beautiful outcome. And so I'm like, okay, I'm actually gonna use this thing more because I enjoy the process more. But until that's like a limiting factor, I would say just get started. And that's the most important thing. You know, use the bare basics in terms of tools. And the cool thing is that in the beginning, when you're not as good at making content, is that nobody will see it.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about, you know, it being, and I don't mean to say that to like discourage anyone. It's just like a matter of fact that everyone goes through a learning curve. And, you know, even Dimitra, when she first started making reels, they did not get a lot of views relative to the, well, in the past, it used to be likes. That was what everyone optimized for on Instagram. But now, you know, obviously since reels, it's Instagram. I mean, it's views. But she struggled for a long time. And then like after posting probably over 50 reels, and that's like, you know, we have like a team who focuses on this type of thing. You know, like we invest a lot of resources and energy, thought, time into making content. You know, after like 50 or so, that's when she finally had like a viral reel where it got 16 million views. And that's definitely not like normal in terms of outcomes that you can expect. It's probably in the top 0.01% of like views for artists in terms of videos. And then, you know, after that one, we were able to replicate that success and do another video that got over 15 million views. But what I'm trying to say is that it takes time and it takes repetitions and it takes a lot of videos to learn the process. And when you're first getting started, you just want to use whatever you have at your disposal. Don't try to overcomplicate it, and you can get fancy as you learn.
I think it's also super important to figure out what your edge is. And, you know, like Dimitra's edge is her aesthetic. And she just has this really unique, singular aesthetic and process for beauty. And so the reels that she creates that do go viral are really accentuating her aesthetic. And whereas I'm like more utilitarian, and I don't like filter my world through beauty and aesthetic like Dimitra does. So that's not my edge. But my edge is talking and being comfortable in front of the camera, enjoying the camera, and like being open and being able to share about what I think or how I feel or yeah, I mean, okay, I have a few things that I'm passionate about and I like to talk about. So you have to find your edge. You know, I had a student once who was older and you know, much older than the average person on Instagram, and that was her edge. To see older people being inspiring and sharing their art and talking about it, and she's very inspiring and very inspirational, and is likes the camera. So that was her edge, is using her age as a source of inspiration for others and talking about it. So everybody has an edge, and I think finding your edge, what you're good at. I knew another artist that loved to bake, and so she would incorporate baking into her reels with her art. And she would like show her art hanging on the wall, her studio, go bake cookies, come back, show some more art, clean a brush, go bake more cookies. And it was kind of like this shtick. So I think you have to find your edge, something that you're comfortable with, and just move into it and enjoy it. Enjoy the process, enjoy, you know, sharing your world with other people. And just keep in mind, you can always change, you can always learn. You know, what is uncomfortable today might not always be uncomfortable. Hey, Zion. What are you doing? Are you coming to paint on my
Yeah, we got a
painting?
special guest for y'all.
I don't know if...
It's up to you, Yaya. I don't know if you
I
want
don't
to
know.
let
It's
him.
pretty close to being done. I'm not sure I could do that. Do you like the lion painting? Zion, what does a lion say? Rawr. It eats people? Wait, say it again. What does a lion do?
Eat people.
Oh.
Oh
Well,
my
do you think
gosh.
this lion's gonna eat Yaya? Okay, that's good. He's a friendly lion. Look at him. Yeah.
Is he the Lion King, Zion?
Mufasa.
Careful, Zion. Good job, buddy.
If you guys have not seen Zion paint, you need to. Dimitra did a video yesterday. Was that on your channel? Yeah, on
Hello?
Dimitra. So Dimitra Milan on YouTube. Man, it is classic. I was watching it yesterday, and when Zion shows up, he steals the show. No offense.
Hey, Zion, what do you want to say to all the artists that are watching right now?
I love you.
You love them?
I love you. I love you.
Do you love painting?
Are you going to be an artist?
Yes.
What kind of artist are you going to be? What's your favorite medium? Do you like oils or acrylics, or do you like markers? Which one? Crayons?
Marcus. Marcus. Everybody. Marcus. Everybody.
Markers, everybody.
Yes, please.
Aw, Zion, everyone's saying they love you too.
Okay, let's do some hair. Do we have time for hair?
Yes. It is. We are at the hour mark, so if you want to do some
okay.
hair real quick, and then
Super
we can.
fast hair.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna show you my hair trick. So this brush, you gotta use a big brush for hair. I know that's counterintuitive. You don't wanna use a big brush for hair, but that's what's gonna make it really pop. And a trick for getting a really vibrant red is do not mix white into it. So I've got all these things mixed together for this vibrant red, but no white. And can I do it sitting down? I don't know. I can stand up, right? Okay, so you just, oh, I gotta get more paint on it. I got too much Galkid. If you get too much Galkid, then the paint isn't thick enough. So you can get these really like thin lines, and it just looks a lot better than if you had if you use like one of those little tiny itty bitty brushes, like a script brush or something. I do that sometimes, you know, when I'm at the tail end of it and I want a slightly different stroke. But for this stage, I always use this sort of flatter brush because you can get really thin, nice lines in there. And getting this really like bright red in the right spots is how that light is going to start to really pop. And actually, I need cad red light for down in here because it is the warmest, brightest red, true red out there. So you can kind of see this effect that this brush gets. And I'm kind of alternating some of the colors. You know, you don't want it to be, you know, the same everywhere. So a little pinker down here so that your reds really transition. Well, Jake, are there any last minute thoughts or questions or before we finish up here?
Just people loving Zion. People asking about the price increase. We will announce more details on the price increase starting soon. Monty wanted to know if you started on a black canvas.
No, I painted the canvas blue-black before I started. That was the first thing I did, is painted it blue-black. With Prussian blue and black, but it was a white canvas.
Okay, awesome. Thank you everyone for watching. The link for the class is in the description. It'll be pinned in the comments below this, and it'll also be on the end screen. If you want to take this class, it is more expensive than our average class. So, you know, I just want to warn you before you go to the landing page. But this class is transformational. You will learn Elli's process for creating incredibly glowing paintings just like this one from start to finish with our beautiful Vivids oil paint, which you definitely will want to get. There's a bundle for that. Very, very special deal if you get the class and the paints together, because we want you to make beautiful paintings and change the world with your incredible art. So thanks so much for watching. Anything else you want to say, Elli?
No, this was fun. Thanks for being here. And I'll be posting this completely finished very soon.